Hi guys, it's me, Faye the Bookworm. Today we're going to be talking about The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. This book was published in 2017 and it is 494 pages long. The Alice Network is a dual timeline novel. The first timeline is in 1947, the aftermath of World War II. And the other timeline is 1915, going into the First World War. It is very beautifully interwoven and connected. It is very well written. The story is very gripping. It totally captivated me from the very beginning. It does not have a slow start. The book has 4 parts and is split up between the 2 narrators, Charlie and Eve. Most of the book is in 1947, following Charlie. She is about 20 years old and she is pregnant out of wedlock, and she is on this adventure to find her missing cousin. Now, Eve in 1947 is like 50-something years old, but in her timeline in 1915, she is 20 years old, and she is a spy for the Alice Network. Charlie is looking for her cousin Rose, and this makes her run into Eve in a long roundabout way. Eve has a driver, Mr. Kilmore, that is also going to be a part of this adventure. So Charlie and Eve are looking for her cousin Rose, and this brings up old memories for Eve. Eve was a spy for the Alice Network, and she went through some brutal training and then was undercover trying to find out bombing locations. So she starts working at this club. It's like a fancy restaurant, and she's working under this guy named Rene. Now, this club during World War I, all of their clientele and all the workers are the poor people that's left over, starving and withering away, while Rene is giving their food and all their wine and all their entertainment, and he is very cruel. Eve needs to learn secrets, so she's a waiter there listening in on all their conversation, and actually starts sleeping with Rene as well, because Rene knows some secrets from talking to the generals. Then in 1947, Charlie and Eve are questioning people on where Rose went. They find out from Rose's mother that Rose fell pregnant right before World War II, and that she was suspected to be part of the resistance. So this is how the 2 timelines get connected. Rose was also working for Rene at a different restaurant during World War II, and Rene turned her over to the Nazis for suspicion of being a spy, and the Nazis massacred the whole town, Rose included. Now, once Charlie and Eve find this out, this adventure is no longer about finding Rose. Now it's about finding Rene and bringing him to justice. And we start to hear the story of Eve, how Rene suspected her of being a spy, and he crushed her hands and handed her over to the Nazis. She ended up in a concentration camp, and somehow her spy sisters also got betrayed, and some of them ended up dying in the concentration camp, but Eve got out, and everybody thinks that she's the rat, so now she has no friends or family. Now, Charlie and Eve and Mr. Kilmore finally catch up to Rene, and they make a plan to take him to the police, but Eve goes rogue. Eve goes and tries to kill him, and Charlie tries to stop her, and they all end up getting hurt, and he does end up getting killed. And Charlie puts a photo of him with a bunch of Nazis on his chest so that the police won't even bother looking for them. This story was incredibly fascinating. action happening all the time. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think that you would too. One thing that Kate Quinn does very well is write a good villain. Rene is so slimy and despicable and makes bad decisions and has no remorse for any of his actions. I mean, it's a villain that you can truly hate. At the ending of this novel, we get some pretty good closure too. Mr. Kilmore and Charlie sparked up a romance through the journey and end up getting married. And then Eve finally feels some relief from all the trauma holding over her head. And I will quote the book to tell you what she is up to now. Shooting Rene had taught Eve just how much she liked to stalk, hunt, and kill dangerous things. She didn't care for targeting shy gazelles or graceful giraffes, but the huge wild bears of Poland or the pride of man-eating lions stalking a village in East Africa had proved fair targets. So that just right there wraps up Eve completely. She is a great character, flawed character. Charlie starts as such a young, naive girl and grows into a woman. I just cannot rave about this book enough. I think it might be a 5-star for me. That's it for me. As always, I will put the discussion in the description below, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!